Let's now create the weather MCP server using cursor ID. You can see I have this blank folder open in this IDE. There is currently nothing in this folder. We will start with creating a new text file called requirements.txt where we will define all the packages libraries that are needed for developing this MCP server. I have that handy with me and I will put this details in this requirement txt. You can see we will need MCP, fast MCP, request package for performing the APIs request, and this some additional packages that are required to develop this. Now once we have done this, we will create again a new server.py which would be our implementation of this respective weather MCP server. We will go step by step and we will utilize the respective packages for consuming this fast MCP first. The second line is import request. This is request HTTP library, right, for performing any API request. Now, the next step is to create the instance of fast MCP. We will create this instance of fast MCP. We will name it to weather MCP server, right? And once this instance is created, we will define our hard-coded coordinates that we are going to support for this respective example where we are supporting these 5 cities. Here I have created the elements with the respective coordinates, and this would be utilized by figuring out the name of the city, and the respective coordinates will be passed to the API that we are going to invoke. Now the next step is to actually register a tool. So app.tool is how we can register a tool that would be identified by any of the MCP enabled AI tool. So app.tool is the decorator for that. Now we will actually create the respective method which will actually invoke the respective API. Here we will start with creating a definition for get weather which will accept the city as string and it will return the dictionary, and we are figuring out the latitude and longitudes by the name of the city that is figured out from the prompt by the AI after the tool is getting invoked. If the latitude and longitude are not figured out, it will show this response to the user. And here we are actually calling this API where we are passing the latitude, we are passing the longitude, and we are passing some additional parameters as well, right? What exactly we need in response. You can see wind speed, temperature. Now this line is performing a get request. We are defining the timeout as well. We are checking the status of the request, and finally we are creating a variable called data, reading the JSON out of it, and this is the current node that is actually written from the JSON. And finally we are creating a customized response where we will show the city, the temperature, and the wind speed as well. Now to actually run this respective MCP server, we will need to write this statement to actually run this server. Finally, this our implementation is ready for calling the weather API that we have chosen and a tool registration that we have done which is called get weather. Now once this is done, we are ready for performing the configuration in the cursor IDE. We will go to preferences and cursor settings. We will go to MCP. You will see this respective hello world and weather are already in place. So we can straight away remove it for our example, right? And we will create a new configuration over here. The configuration is similar, but there would be only the path difference over here. We are naming this respective MCP server as weather. So weather MCP server, the interpreter is Python. This is the arguments that we are passing, and we just need to make sure that the path are correct for the server file and the current working directory. Once this is done, we are ready with the new MCP server for invoking the weather from the external API integration that we have done over here. The requirements are defined over here. Now we can install these dependencies in the terminal by the commands for installing these respective dependencies first, creating the virtual environment. So first step would be creating the virtual environment. So this is the command that we will run for creating the virtual environment in which respective dependencies would be installed. It will take a bit time, but you can see these all dependencies would be installed in this virtual environment. You can see this folder is already created. Okay, after this virtual environment is created, we will need to activate this virtual environment so that we can install these respective libraries in it. The virtual environment is ready. Now we will use this pip install command, which will actually read this requirement.txt file. This is where all the dependencies would be figured out. You will notice that the installation of the packages that we have done in earlier example are already referred out. Here it will say that okay, if you want to upgrade the pip, we can just install or upgrade whatever you want, but for this example this is fine. Now we will again go to cursor settings. We will check whether this MCP configuration that we have done for this weather tool is there or not. You can see this get weather is the tool that is already figured out, which will be referred from the server.py file. So we are ready for actually running this example. Let's say get me weather of Mumbai. It will try to figure out the installed tools. Okay, it figured out the get weather tool that we have already configured, and we will allow it to run. This parameter would be passed as Mumbai, and you can see that the temperature and the wind speed is already referred over here. So this is how we can create a new API integration based MCP server, which will return the temperature, wind speed of any of the city. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for some of the complex examples that we are going to develop for developing the MCP servers with different examples, with walkthroughs and actual practical implementation.